Okay, everybody ready? Calling to order regular meeting of council for June 26, 2025. Just note, we lent out our owl and had a little issue on receipt of it, so we don't have our extender mic tonight. So use your loud voice if you're speaking around the table. We're going to hope that the sound quality is good enough without that. But I do, so just for record, Councillor Williams is absent tonight. And I do have some opening remarks, and quite a few, just to prepare you. But I do want to start tonight by taking a moment to extend heartfelt thanks on behalf of council and our entire community to all of the first responders that responded to a number of different crises in our community and neighboring communities in the past couple of weeks. So including our emergency services personnel, firefighters, police, paramedics, and crisis support workers. We thank them for the compassion and professionalism that they showed under the most difficult circumstances. As a council and town staff, we continue to hold in our thoughts the family who suffered an unthinkable tragedy during the opening day of harness racing at Connell Park Raceway. It's certainly moments like these that remind us of the strength and resilience of small communities where we can come together to support one another in times of need. On Thursday, June 12th, I attended the Filipino Independence Day, which was organized by the Carleton County Filipino Canadian Association. I want to thank the president of the CCFCA, Leonardo Aragante, for inviting me. I had a great time sitting and sharing with them, which was, of course, done over food. I had the opportunity to try a number of different cultural food dishes, and they actually informed me that there are now over 500 in Carleton County members as part of their association, and so it was great to see a group of them out that day. So that association is actively motivating members to participate in activities that are culturally significant to Canadians, while also gathering to celebrate their own heritage and culture. They certainly love to gather together, and I really loved my time with them, and I hope they continue to invite me to their events. They did a big, if you're going to do something culturally significant in Carleton County, there's no other thing than basketball. So they did a big event where they have their own basketball tournament, and their next one up is volleyball. So we'll see if they do what they say and extend me an invite to play volleyball with them. But it was certainly an enjoyable time. Monday, June 16th, I attended a special meeting for UMND board members, and you guys will get some follow-up information on that in the coming days. Unfortunately, I missed RibFest this year as I was in Halifax for a few days celebrating our daughter's university graduation ceremony and spending some time with her and other friends for the weekend, but I hear it was extremely successful, and I will leave it to Councillor Bradbury to provide a summary on that event later. Monday, June 23rd, we welcomed Premier Holt to our community to explore our downtown waterfront, in particular the Paddle Club's Dragon Boats and the Woodstock Rentals. So we had a great crew on hand from the Paddle Club to share with her the growth of dragon boating, and we took her out on the dragon boat after a discussion for a paddle, which she enjoyed and we all enjoyed. She and I also rented a kayak, and guider Jamie Polchis took us for a tour around the Baduksekag River. So it was a fun time, and we appreciated her taking time to stop and check out our hidden gems. And a big thank you to Maddie King, who set up her famous lemonade to offer everyone there a cold, tasty refreshment after, and it was good timing because it was a warm afternoon on Monday. This past Tuesday, I attended the NBCC graduation ceremony at the Air Motor Center on a day when we were experiencing a heat wave. What an awesome facility we have. We are very fortunate to have that for events like that. The graduation ceremony was great. I know Councillor Brown can speak to this, but I really thoroughly enjoyed the valedictorian and his speech. He was incredibly funny and inspiring, and we wish all the graduates a great future. And I will leave it to Councillor Brown to announce maybe which graduate received the big Governor General's Award for the graduate in the class that received the highest GPA. Also, just noting that we have launched the campaign for our youth council. and we are now accepting applications. So please be sure to like and share the posts that we put out. We've already shared some, and we will be kind of promoting that heavily in the next few weeks. July 1st floats Canada Day celebrations are coming up on Tuesday, and it's a wonderful opportunity to gather with family and friends and neighbors. And I will be downtown all day again this year for July 1st floats events, including obviously the cake cutting at noon. So councillors, you're all welcome to come and join me. Those that are down there to help hand out, I believe we keep calling it cake cutting, but I believe it's going to be cupcakes again this year. It's much easier. And myself and a lot of you folks and staff are participating in the dragon boat races again with and we also have, I will say, a booth. The town has a booth in the vendor market this year, and we will be in the MBCC parking lot side. That's largely to help promote our new youth council and Communities in Bloom. So please feel free, anyone, to stop by our booth to come and learn about the Youth Council Initiative and all things Communities in Bloom. Our Youth Development Coordinator, Summer Student, and I will have some fun giveaways and info to hand out at the booth. And I hope everyone takes time to take in some of the events. There's lots of things happening all day, right up until fireworks at night. So the boat parade's always a huge hit, and the fireworks. So hopefully we'll have a great weather day and lots of participation again. So in closing, on behalf of all of council, I wish to wish our Woodstock High School graduate class of 2025 a big congratulations. We wish you the best in this next chapter of your life. We are happy to hear that safe prom, and the graduation ceremony were all successful and lots of fun. And in one final remark, I'll let Lauren and the Deputy Mayor maybe recap the successful hook and paddle event. And maybe I'll start with either one of you. If we'll open up to the rest of you to share any of your remarks. But yes, Lauren, you.
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Free curry, West Day, with them, their spirits, and back to 43.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And they had a great time. Enjoyed it.
They're a little disappointed they didn't get a muskie this year, but they still caught quite an array. I think from all the different fish.
All the species.
All the species.
Yeah, they had a great time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Anyone else? Councillor Bradbury?
Hey.
I'll get your Rib Fest shirt on.
I've watched it since then. No, it's another successful event. Although we had rain Friday and Sunday and stuff like that, we still had a good crowd through and stuff like that. Everything went really well. Saturday was just phenomenal. Beautiful day.
Yeah.
The crowds came out. It was really nice to see everybody enjoying themselves and having a good time. So.
Awesome.
I'd like to have a little bit better update. I was just checking with my other counterparts there, and we'll have the totals and everything like that. So probably the next council meeting, I would like to let everybody know where all the money's went, stuff like that. So, yeah, it was a great event. Looking forward to next year, and just a little update. 358 more seats.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Brown?
I was proud to attend the MBCC graduation. With my son graduated from the business management program, and he was honored to receive the Governor General's Award.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyone else? Did we leave anything in particular out? I think I get everything covered. Okay. All right, moving on to approval of the agenda. I'll get my papers in order here. We do have a couple of items to add. I know. Boo. So if I could get a motion that the agenda for the regular meeting of council dated June 26, 2025 be approved with the following changes. Add items 10.8, road maintenance discussion. Add item 12.2, legal. Do I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Bradbury, seconded by Councillor Martin. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. Anybody have any declaration of conflict of interest to declare tonight? Okay, hearing none, we will move on. We have 2 sets of minutes to approve. The first set is minutes for our council and committee meeting on June 10th. If I could get a motion for approval of the minutes of June 10th, 2025 as distributed. Moved by Councillor McCartney, seconded by Councillor Leach. Any questions on that set of minutes? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. Second set is for our regular meeting of council on the same night. If I could get a motion for approval of the minutes of the June 10th, 2025 meeting as distributed. Moved by the Mayor, seconded by Councillor Bradbury. Any questions on that set of minutes? Good. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. Sorry, tonight we're going at your pace. This is Laura's last meeting with us. We'll give some closing remarks maybe tonight for Laura, but so we're going to continue to slow to your pace whenever you need. You good to continue? Okay. Moving on to item number 7, business arising from the minutes. So we had to switch our meeting night this week, and that was largely for the general public's knowledge because we had, for the first time ever, we couldn't make quorum. So we had to shift our meeting due to some last minute changes for councils that couldn't be in attendance. So Jennifer Crabb, our Director of Finance, isn't here tonight, but I know the financial statements were presented to the Finance Committee and they were all distributed to you guys. So at this time, I would ask if anybody has any questions on the reports. Or CAO, did you want to do any type of summary tonight?
I don't think I need to do a summary, but
okay.
I'll answer any questions if there are any.
Okay. Okay, and if not hearing anything, we'll ask Mike, co-chair of that committee, to call the motion.
Sure. So the motion is that council accept the April 2025 general and utility monitoring bonus report.
Okay. Do we have a mover? Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Bradbury. Okay, any other last chance to ask any questions? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. Number 8, correspondence. We did get some correspondence from the Girl Guides Operation Olav, and it was essentially a thank you for essentially to, well, I can read one of the pieces of correspondence. So thank you so much for your wonderful contribution and support to the Operation Olav activity. Your generous donation was extremely helpful and kind. We really appreciate it. Onward with some other comments, but they did send everyone, that's what's in front of you. So that's where your badge came from. That's in place tonight. So we thank the Girl Guide group for passing along that correspondence and giving us all a nice, lovely badge for our keepsakes. On that note, we will move on to item number 9, CAO update.
Some update on some of the top priority items. Our general manager for the Air Motor Center, Scott Maservi, he started there on June 16th, settling in well. I've been seeing him about every day, and he's already started to talk 1-year plans and 2-year plans, and so he seems to be settling in very well there. The renovations at 244 Collins Street have begun. We're planning occupancy for mid-August, depending on some lead times for materials. We're currently utilizing the meeting space and some office space, but it will remain closed to the public until the renovations are completed. We were over today and it's looking quite good. We have completed the purchase of 105 Moffett Street with the closing date of June 16th. This space will give us options with regards to potential operational space for public works and utilities, alternative storage space as we refurbish 824 Main Street, and additional storage for Air Motor Center needs, and potentially an alternative meeting or office space if needed. A full review of the potential of the building will occur over the summer. Brush removal at the Woodstock Golf Club, I say, was scheduled to begin June 23rd. It is now complete. They did it in a little over 2 days.
Yeah.
They removed approximately 150 truckloads of brush. I have pictures of them, and if anybody wants to see it, it is amazing.
Mhm.
So really good job was done up there, so we're very happy.
Yeah.
The boat launch upgrade, the engineering assessment is done, and the well permit has been submitted, and MB Power has given us their permission that they need for the landholder's permission, and so we're waiting for the results of that, and then we'll go to the actual bid for the construction of it. Two other quick items, and then I'll come back to number 5. Paving is scheduled to start next week. The plan is to start with Wright Street, then Townsview, and perhaps get some done on Beacon. So at least we'll get started on that paving next week. And the well number 3 pump test is also scheduled to start next week. We have all the parts now. We've got everything lined up. So that is a major milestone to get that done. And then finally, as an ending note, while work continues on our cybersecurity plan, we haven't talked about it too much. Lately, we continue to see examples of the anti-phishing training helping our staff identify and prevent real phishing attempts, not just the training ones that are coming in. Last weekend, Geraldine spotted some red flags in an email from a known vendor, somebody that she deals with all the time. It just looked different. She passed it along to be investigated, and then she called the vendor, again, at a known number to a known person to ask if it was real. It turned out that vendor had been hacked. This was a real, genuine threat to us that came in. We then sent it up to our provider who got it killed and all of that sort of stuff. So her awareness and the training, the responsiveness to the training is just one example of how this is helping us become just a little bit more secure in what is a very risky environment.
Yeah.
So that is my CA report. No, I already.
Okay, good. Yep. No,
Are there
that's
Any
good.
questions?
Any questions on anything? Okay, moving on to new business. Item number 10.1, our 2024 audit approval. So we have our auditor here, Matt Darrow, and he's going to walk through a presentation, which a lot of us have already been through, but we'll, for record, he's going to give a summary, and then we'll have an opportunity to ask any questions. You proceed whenever you'd like.
Thank you, Mayor Jones and councilors. Tonight I'm just going to go over that one-page handout that I gave you, and I think everybody has received the audit statements in advance of tonight. So, as you likely noticed, the audit statements are about 30 pages long, and I'm going to try to condense it into this one, and I'll give you the high level, the high points here. So, the 2024 audit report is prepared in accordance with the standards for public sector audits as required for all municipalities across Canada, and it states that our audit was performed in accordance with the Canadian generally accepted auditing standards. The audit report does not include any qualifications, and therefore is a clear, in our opinion, the highest level that can be issued. So the consolidated statements are prepared based on public sector accounting board standards known as PSAB. So if you hear me saying PSAB tonight, that's what I'm referring to. And they are then adjusted to include items required under the province of New Brunswick reporting requirements. Or I'll probably just be saying PNBs. So those PNB requirements, that's what's required to follow the section budgets, and I think all the police sort of comes into the calculation for your tax rates and things like that. So, the operating results for 2024 under the PNB requirements showed a deficit of $7,600 in the general operating fund and a deficit of $77,000 in the water and sewer operating fund. So that $7,000 deficit was on a $16.6 million budget, so it's probably about as close to break even that you can get right there. And even a $77,000 deficit on the $2 million budget, that's still just over 3% of the budget. So, very, very close on a $18.7 million budget. In your financial statements, you'll only find those numbers in note 21, which is on page 19. And that shows the reconciliation from the consolidated PSAB surplus to the province of New Brunswick. For province of New Brunswick budgeting requirements, the cumulative 2-year surplus deficit position was a $108,000 deficit in the general operating fund, $2,000 deficit in the water and sewer fund. Essentially what that means is this 2024 deficit number, or numbers that you see, they will be included in your 2026 budget prepared later this fall. Capital expenditures for 24, they totaled $1.9 million versus 2.9 in 23 and 1.9 in 22. There were $486,000 spent on streets and sidewalks, $86,000 on land improvement and park development. There's $325,000 spent on equipment purchases. In the Air Motor Center and Recreation, $38,000 spent, and just over $1 million in water and sewer. Under net debt is a calculation of the combined balances of financial assets and liabilities for all your funds. It's consolidated out. Financial assets, 5.5 million in 24 compared to 3.5 million in 23 and 2.7 million in 22. And your net debt at the end of December 24 was 2,843,000 compared to 5.7 million in 23 and 6.1 million. So your net debt decreased by 2,879,024. And that's really a reflection of increase in reserves and then just an overall decrease in liquidity.
May I ask for clarification? That net debt is a negative number. That makes it a surplus?
Sorry, no, well, no, net debt
Yeah.
in this case is negative or showing negative here, but it's not a surplus. It would be
That's,
it's
Okay.
your total liabilities, your total
Okay.
financial assets less your total
less the liabilities, yeah. So this
So
is positive, the
Okay.
top line's
Yeah.
positive.
all good there?
Yeah.
So your net debt as a percentage of assessed valuation decreased to 0.2% compared to 0.5% the previous year and 1.1% in 22. The town's debt service cost ratio, which is a percentage of the operating budget used for principal and interest payments. So the cost, meaning the principal and interest payments as a percentage of your overall budget, it remains very low at 2.4%. So historically, the average for all towns in New Brunswick has been around 7%. The last couple of years, they haven't published those stats for the province, likely due to all the recent changes in this reform. But anyway, the maximum you're allowed to have is 20%. So just in running the numbers, to be average, you could have had another $775,000 just in debt costs. Not additional debt, but debt.
But what we're paying out, yeah.
1 year of debt costs, or the maximum, you could have had an additional 2.9 million.
Right.
Before you'd be exceeding that 20%. So, in other words, you're in a really healthy position as far as debt and the debt cost as a percentage. Consolidated statement of financial position. So your non-financial assets, and they include your tangible capital assets, net of amortization, prepaid expenses and supplies inventory, they were 46.2 million at the end of December 24, 46.3 million at the end of 23, and 45.5 million at the end of 22. And your accumulated surplus, consisting of non-financial assets less the net debt, shows at 43.3 million at the end of December 24, 40.6 million at the end of 23, 39.4 million at the end of 22. So that's an increase of, for your accumulated surplus, that's an increase of 2.7 million in 24 versus an increase of 1.2. So that's a quick rundown in numbers, and I always usually have a couple concluding remarks, and just say that 24 financial report shows the town continue to manage significant capital projects. They also prepared for future projects, which can be seen from your reserve increases, all while staying within basically 1% of operating budgets and maintaining below average debt levels. So, and I would also just add, during our audit, we had to work with a number of people, number of staff members, which we always like to thank, both at the town hall and here at the Motor Center. And although she's not here tonight, we're probably all aware that Jennifer's doing a very good job for us. Happy to answer or try to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions on the audit? Everybody got the